Hi there, I recently had 2 days to make a game with the theme Small Sacrifices. So me and my teammates made the game True Friends. And to answer your questions, yes, you absolutely sacrifice your friends in this game. And in fact, in this jam, we came... Wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, it was day number 1. The theme was revealed, and from that point onward, the clock was ticking. Theme, Small Sacrifices. We had 50 hours to make a game from scratch, so we got to work. First, we started brainstorming ideas. We took a long time figuring out what we wanted to go for, popping back and forth between a couple of ideas. Like a platformer where jumping or moving made you lose health, or a game where your calculator loses its buttons when you click on them. Solve these MASH questions or die. I'm thinking it's like, oh, you're in a math test, but you're in hell, and it's like, if you don't answer the questions, you will be damned to all eternity. Purgatory math. Anyway, we ended up settling on a point-and-click adventure game where you have to sacrifice your friends to progress through countless lasers, lava pits, exploding spikes, and magical barriers, protected with the power of math. Each time you rewind back to the beginning with all the new friends you've recruited, it mechanically becomes easier to progress, but it also becomes easier to throw your friends into dangerous traps where they disintegrate into piles of ash. So to help our players realize what terrible people they're becoming, we added multiple endings based on the number of people they saved. Only one person escaped. Wow! You're a terrible person! You know, like everyone is dead, is blacked out and everything. But that's not all. To make sure no one gets off scot-free, our true ending, where the maximum number of people are saved, involves getting the well-guarded shield bearer, who can block lasers, and you can valiantly make it through all the traps without losses. Until the last one, where the player has to sacrifice one of their friends. A truly heart-wrenching decision. Alright, which one of you fricks is stepping on the spikes? Anyway, once we finished brainstorming an idea we were all comfortable with, we each started working on the game. I started out by working on the design of our game, and over this day and the next, I perfected this chart detailing the dungeon, its puzzles, and how to escape. As you can see, it beat. I spent quite some time agonizing on this, wondering how each of the countless combinations of players, rooms, and traps interacted with each other. And of course how all this ties in with the main mechanic of being able to time travel, warp your way back to the beginning of the dungeon with all the friends you've recruited. Anyway, with that absolute unit of a map as a guide, I finished the day by implementing some of the simpler levels into the game, making sure we had a decent system for each trap so we could just copy-paste a schematic of each trap into the rest of the rooms, and do it in a way that it would work with the 4 special abilities you would find in your friends, such as fire lava immunity, being able to go through these magical barriers, because you're a nerd, blocking lasers with a shield, and being a useless sack of meat and bone that has no special abilities. Anyway, that brings us to Submission Day. To start off Submission Day, I do have to mention that my fellow programmer had some stuff to do and couldn't join me for the final day. I did find a replacement programmer, but I had to show him all the stuff we made and how it works. See, the thing is, on Submission Day, it was starting to get clear that this game idea was a bit too big for a simple 2-day game jam. The sheer size of the dungeon already took me almost a full day's worth of work just to think up. How long would it take to implement? At this point in time, we were really descending into madness, which made it the perfect time to offer my world-renowned death sounds. It is time. Prepare yourself for some death sounds. Pain. We were now really feeling the time pressure start to weigh in, so we started implementing as much as we could, as quickly as we could. One thing was clear, whether we could implement all the rooms or not, it was gonna be close. And with way too little time left on the clock, we started exporting. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we play the waiting game. I think it is worth noting that we no longer have the true ending where only one person dies, because we just did not have enough time to add the shield bearer. He just kind of doesn't exist. But on like the upside, everything else also kind of sucks. Like we don't have music or art or like fun. And then we submitted it. So yeah, turns out when you're rushing a game out and literally haven't had enough time to go through the first couple rooms, turns out it can be quite a buggy mess. In the game we submitted, you can't make it past the third room. So it turns out when you talk to this friendly skeleton and recruit him, he just turns into a dog. Yeah, so moral of the story, make sure your game isn't as humongous as ours was. I think a 2-day game jam should give you about enough time for like 5 rooms. We had 3 times as much as that. Well, we will learn, I guess. Anyway, so we submitted the game past the time limit because luckily the people who were hosting the game jam were giving us a bit of leeway. I also didn't want to leave a game that we had worked so hard on so buggy that you can't make it past the 3rd room. So I decided to spend some time working on it. Once the voting period was done, I submitted a version of the game as I intended it to be, with just all the bugs fixed and all the stuff we'd already planned to implement. And yeah, you can actually play this game yourself. Just go to the link in the description. You don't even have to download anything, you can just play it in the browser. So, in the end, we came in 5th place when looking at our best category in a jam of 12 people. That's what happens when you overscope, I guess. Don't make your jam games too big, kids. Anyway, that's the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Also, hey, we reached 50 subscribers. Hey. I'd like to thank you all for watching my videos, and I'll see you next time. This is exactly what I want.